Before we begin, I want to say something important. Supporting an artist does not mean pretending everything they do is perfect. Real support means honesty. It means wanting them to grow, improve, and reach the level you know they are capable of. Sometimes the truth sounds harsh, but truth given with fairness can be more valuable than empty praise. And today, that is exactly what this conversation is about. Because when someone has talent, beauty, fame, money, fans all over the world, and one of the biggest platforms in music, people naturally expect greatness. Not average, not confusion, greatness. And that is why so many people were shocked when Lisa's album Alter Ego arrived. Not because it was the worst thing ever made. Not because she has no talent. But because it felt like something far smaller than the artist behind it. This should have been a defining moment, a powerful new chapter, a statement to the world that Lisa was ready to stand fully on her own. Instead, for many listeners, it felt like a messy puzzle made of expensive pieces that somehow never became a full picture. And that disappointment is where this story begins. Lisa is not a beginner. She is not unknown. She is not someone trying to get one viral hit and disappear next week. She comes from one of the biggest girl groups in modern pop history. She has global recognition, stage presence, and a fan base many artists dream about for a lifetime. That means expectations are naturally higher. When someone with that level of star power releases an album, people expect identity, direction, growth, a reason to care beyond popularity. But many listeners walked away, asking one simple question. Who was this album really about? Because instead of feeling like Lisa the person, Alter Ego often felt like Lisa the brand trying on different masks. And that is where the problem started. Branding can build a career. It can also damage one. Look at artists who reinvent themselves the right way. When it works, it feels natural. It feels like evolution. You can see the journey from who they were to who they became. But when rebranding is forced, it feels like costume changes. And many people felt Lisa's recent era leaned more toward costume than connection. One day glamorous fashion icon. Another day edgy rebel. Another day luxury socialite. Another day Western pop star. Another day rapper. Another day mysterious character with multiple personalities. There is nothing wrong with being versatile. Great artists evolve all the time. But there is a difference between versatility and confusion. Versatility says, I contain many sides. Confusion says, I don't know which side is real. That is what made many listeners uncomfortable. Because people were not looking for 10 versions of Lisa. They were looking for one honest version. The title Alter Ego had huge potential. Imagine hearing that name for the first time. You might expect vulnerability. You might expect hidden emotions. You might expect the private thoughts of someone who spent years inside a machine-like industry. You might expect stories of leaving home young, training pressure, loneliness, fame, identity, cultural displacement, the cost of perfection, the battle between public Lisa and private Lisa. That would have been powerful. That would have been human. That would have connected deeply. Instead, many felt they got surface-level characters, glamorous poses, attitude lines, and familiar bragging energy without enough emotional depth underneath. And when the audience expects a diary but receives a dress-up box, disappointment grows fast. Now let's be fair. The album was not without bright moments. There were tracks where Lisa sounded more focused, more comfortable, more believable. Those moments matter because they prove the talent is there. When she relaxes into a smoother lane, when she lets her voice breathe, when she stops trying to prove everything at once, something stronger appears. Presence. There are songs where she sounds effortless instead of manufactured. And effortless confidence is far more powerful than forced swagger. That is an important lesson for any artist. You do not need to shout power. Real power can whisper. Some of the more melodic moments showed a side people wanted more of. A side that felt less concerned with image and more concerned with mood. Less performance, more personality. Those songs made listeners wonder, why wasn't the whole album built with this level of clarity? Because scattered throughout the project are hints of a better record hiding inside the released one. That is what makes criticism sharper. People are not reacting because there is no potential. They are reacting because they can hear it and see it being underused. Then we arrive at the lyrics. This is where the reaction became more brutal. Lyrics do not always need to be poetic masterpieces. Pop music can be fun, playful, silly, bold, simple. But lyrics still need one of three things: meaning, charm, or attitude so convincing that it becomes addictive. When lyrics miss all three, they become cringe. And once listeners label something cringe, the internet can be merciless. Many people felt parts of the writing sounded underdeveloped, generic, or trying too hard to sound rebellious without saying anything memorable. That matters especially in Western markets, where listeners often focus heavily on songwriting identity. You can survive with average lyrics if your charisma is overwhelming. You can survive with average charisma if your lyrics are brilliant. But average lyrics combined with a searching identity create a harder climb. And Lisa is now trying to compete in a space filled with artists who write personal stories, create strong visuals, and build distinct worlds around their music. That competition is real. Now let's talk about the biggest missed opportunity of all: dance. Lisa is widely known as an elite performer. Her movement, precision, rhythm, and control are not ordinary strengths. They are signature strengths. So why does it feel like her solo artistry has not fully weaponized that gift? This confuses many fans. When an artist has a rare advantage, the smartest strategy is to make that advantage impossible to ignore. If you are an incredible dancer, create unforgettable performance-centered eras. Give people choreography they cannot stop replaying. Give stages that dominate social media. Give visual identity through movement. Give moments only you can deliver. Instead, many feel that her solo output has not consistently transformed dance into the central pillar it could be. That is like owning a race car and choosing to walk. Can she sing? Yes. Can she rap? Yes. Can she model? Yes. Can she entertain? Absolutely. But dance may be the lane where she can become undeniable. And undeniable matters more than merely popular. Another issue was emotional distance. People know Lisa as a public figure, but do they know her as an artist? That is not the same thing. A celebrity can be famous without being emotionally known. An artist becomes unforgettable when people feel they know something true about them through the work. Think about albums people replay for years. Usually, they contain emotion people can borrow for their own lives. Heartbreak, loneliness, hope, confidence, fear, transformation, survival. If listeners cannot locate your humanity inside the music, they may admire you, but not deeply attached to the songs. That seems to be part of the challenge here. Many admire Lisa. Fewer feel they discovered Lisa through this album. And that difference changes everything. Now let's address a harder truth. Sometimes a project fails not because the artist failed, but because the team failed. Creative direction matters. Song selection matters. A&R matters. Brand positioning matters. Timing matters. Narrative matters. If an artist with enormous potential keeps delivering confusing eras, eventually attention turns toward management. Because star power alone cannot replace strategic vision forever. A smart team asks, what is her strongest lane? What makes her different? What story is the audience missing? What can only she do? What should we stop doing immediately? Those questions are priceless. Without answers, even talented stars can drift. And drift is dangerous in today's market because audiences move fast. Every week there is someone new. A new voice. A new scandal. A new trend. A new face. A new obsession. If your identity is blurry, the crowd keeps walking. Now, does this mean Lisa should quit? No. That would be the lazy conclusion. Setbacks do not mean endings. Weak eras do not erase talent. One disappointing album does not define a career. Many legendary artists released messy projects before finding their best work later. The real question is not whether she should quit. The real question is whether she will adapt. Will she listen? Will she evolve? Will she separate praise from truth? Will she choose artistry over image? Will she risk being real? Because if she does, the comeback could be huge. And here is why. She already has attention. She already has recognition. She already has resources. She already has stage power. What she needs now is precision. Not more noise. Not more characters. Not more scattered aesthetics. Precision. One clear story. One sharp musical identity. One era with purpose. One body of work that says, now you finally understand me. Imagine an album rooted in her real journey. Thailand to Korea. Teen trainee to global icon. Pressure behind beauty. The loneliness of fame. The exhaustion of always being watched. The fear of standing alone after group success. The hunger to prove she is more than image. That album could be incredible. Because authenticity has a sound people recognize immediately. And once they hear it, they stay. Also, collaboration choices matter. Working with famous names can create headlines. Working with the right names can create classics. Those are different goals. A headline lasts days. A classic lasts decades. She needs collaborators who challenge her, not just decorate the track list. Writers who can pull stories out of her. Producers who understand tension, mood, and identity. Directors who create symbolism instead of random luxury shots. Choreographers who build iconic moments. A team that serves the art, not just the algorithm. And to fans, this is important too. Loving an artist should not mean silencing criticism. It should mean wanting better. You can celebrate success while still demanding growth. In fact, stars surrounded only by yes people often decline the fastest. Honest feedback can save careers. Blind worship can damage them. Now imagine the next performance stage. The lights go down. The crowd waits. People expect another pretty moment. Instead, they get mastery. Sharp choreography. Confident live presence. A song with real identity. Visual storytelling. No confusion. No trying to be everyone. Just Lisa at full focus. That moment could change the narrative overnight. Because narratives are fragile. One weak era can hurt them. One brilliant era can rewrite them. That is why this chapter matters. She stands at a crossroads many stars eventually face. Do you keep relying on fame? Or do you build legacy? Fame is loud. Legacy is deeper. Fame notices you. Legacy remembers you. Right now, many people still see Lisa as a celebrity first and solo artist second. The next move determines whether that order flips. And make no mistake, she can do it. But talent without direction is wasted energy. Beauty without substance gets old fast. Popularity without identity becomes unstable. Yet when talent meets discipline, when charisma meets truth, when star power meets vision, that is when eras are born. So no, this should not be the end. It should be the wake-up call. A wake-up call to drop weak writing. A wake-up call to stop hiding behind concepts. A wake-up call to use dance as a weapon. A wake-up call to trust real storytelling. A wake-up call to choose art over safe branding. Because the world already knows Lisa the icon, now they need to meet Lisa the artist. And if that meeting finally happens, many critics today may become supporters tomorrow. That is how fast things can change when the work is undeniable. So what is the final verdict? Alter Ego was not a disaster because it lacked polish. It was disappointing because it lacked depth. It was frustrating because flashes of brilliance were there. It was criticized because expectations were high. And it was talked about so much because Lisa still matters. People do not debate artists they have given up on. They debate artists they believe still have more to give. That is the hidden compliment inside criticism. Potential. Huge potential. Now the question is simple. Will she continue releasing projects that feel expensive but empty? Or will she create the one album that silences everyone? That answer is still unwritten. And honestly, that makes the next chapter far more interesting than the last one. Now I want to hear from you. Did Alter Ego deserve the backlash, or were people too harsh? What should Lisa focus on next? Vocals, rap, dance, storytelling, or a total rebrand? And most importantly, do you believe her best solo era is still ahead of her? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is only getting started.